There you are, hiding deep underground, plucking the strings of your dark web of fear like a spidery harp. There you now face the Tick and his fearless sidekick Arthur.
From the network that brought you Breaking Bad, a show you couldn't stop watching, comes a show so inconsistent you have to keep talking yourself into watching The Walking Dead.
Bruce, I think it's time we put our differences aside and work together.
I mean, why?
You're Batman.
Yeah, and I have no special powers. I'm basically just bitch and nuts. Bitch and nuts.
On your own from the age of 15. Reckless, aggressive, and undisciplined.
This is a rebellion, isn't it? I rebel.
All right, what is up, nerds? Welcome to the Nerds with Attitude podcast. What's up, guys?
What's up?
How's it going?
How we doing?
All right, I am Kevin, and I am joined by...
It's Miggs.
It's Brian.
It's Mike.
And this is our 21st episode, you guys.
We're legal.
That means
legal.
this
We're
is
ready to roll.
Nerds Gone Wild here. So
We're getting drunk on the podcast today.
All of you should know that we're all here topless.
We're topless.
That's
I
why
got
there
the
will be
beads.
We have beers in our hands.
there'll
and
be no
shots.
photos from this podcast.
Yes.
Well, guys, let's
Actually, those are for our Patreon.
we got some fun news for you guys today, and
Fun,
we are going to
fun.
jump right into it. But before we start, I want to tell you guys about a dream I had last night. Before I
Jesus.
forget,
Here
this
we
is
go.
great. Okay,
Here
so
we go.
we were on a nerd outing like we were wont to do. Where
Okay.
sometimes we'll like in group after a meeting or podcast, and we'll all go to like a Target or something like that.
Yeah.
we're in some sort of like Fred Meyer Target kind of grocery superstore
Okay.
kind of thing, and we're all shopping around, and we kind of split to go our different ways. And I come around a corner, and unexpectedly, there's a row of toys there,
Yeah.
and it's all G.I. Joes, which was great because G.I. Joe's basically canceled, and there's no new product. But
Yeah.
even in my dream, I was dreaming about modern figures that were unproduced. So there was the Target and
Okay.
Rock and Roll version 2, and I think Repeater, and then they had modern versions of the accessory packs.
Oh, wow.
Which I was like,
That'd be cool.
and even in like bright blue colors and like weird alt colors
Yeah.
and stuff, I was like, this is so fucking cool. So I like pulled them all off the shelves, and I'm running around the store now with an armload of them trying to find you guys
Yeah.
so I can see who wants what. And I was so excited that like the Target was there, and I was like looking at like the sculpt. I'm like, oh, underneath this visor, I don't know why it was out of the package suddenly. I was like, oh, the painting on the visor's not quite the same, but it's
Yeah.
a modern version. So anyway, so I had and then I woke up. I never found you guys in the store. I was waiting for you at the checkout. Nobody ever came. So
I was probably in the bathroom,
yeah.
the family bathroom.
You were over in the
That was in the
entertainment
Starbucks
electronics
line.
aisle
Yes.
making a pie. Brian's been cooking a lot lately.
Yes, with raspberry pie. It's delicious.
And he's explained it to me about 4 times already
And
what
he
raspberry
has no
pie
idea
is,
what it
and
means.
it's just I get a blank stare. Mike knows they were talking about Tron bits and
You said
RAM
Tron bits,
cycles,
RAM
and I don't know what was going
Don't
on.
forget about the. I'm not gonna say.
Would you say the Dolph Lundgren? Don't
Yes,
forget about Dolph
Yeah,
Lundgren.
the Dolph Lundgren emulator.
Right.
Right. It's amazing.
Oh, was it the PENIS in slots?
Yeah, the
spot
PENIS
port.
Right.
server port. Yes, that's
Okay.
exactly what it is.
So that's
He talks like this.
that's what Brian's been up to lately. I've been dreaming about G.I. Joes, and he's been baking a pie apparently in his garage.
A
So.
raspberry pie.
Raspberry Pi, where it's an emulator for video games.
No. It can be whatever you
It's
you want.
the beginnings
it
of
to be. It's
Skynet. What's happening?
Yes, it's exactly. No, it's basically if you just think about it, it's a processor, a graphics chip, all on something the size of a credit card. Essentially, it's about the size of that, and it's.
Are we talking like Eddie Furlong, Terminator 2, like stealing from ATMs?
You could
kind of
probably
stuff?
do that.
kinda
It has
that.
probably had the power.
Why didn't
It's
you
got all
say
those
this
ports.
earlier?
So thanks
I'll
for
go
listening
get
to this
one.
episode of Nerds with Attitude.
Yeah,
We'll-
we're going to the bank. But no, it's a small little computer. Essentially, it's a Linux-based kind of deal. You can run whatever you want on it. Like you can run any kind of Linux. Like right now, I'm running Raspbian, which is the native operating system. So you can go online, like a desktop. And then I've got another operating system called RetroPie, which will do
That's where it's all hairy, right?
exactly.
Okay.
All right.
Love me some bush.
No, it's for emulation and game stuff like that, and it's kind of cool. I'll put up a video up on our YouTube page and show you guys what I have once I have something to show.
All right. Well, that's a good transition to our shout out to our new YouTube page, which has a couple of things on there that you can go check out. Please be sure to subscribe. because that way, once we get enough subscribers, we can actually give it a genuine, unique URL. Right now, you can find us at youtube.com/387WVX 9J. I think there's a happy face emoticon in there. I'm not sure.
We'll have a link.
Basically, there'll be a link on our Facebook page, which you all are big fans of, which I appreciate. And
yeah, we're pretty close to
you can also
300.
it's pretty easy to find us on YouTube if you just type in Nerds with Attitude Podcast. Nerds with Attitude Podcast on Facebook, and Nerds with Attitude Podcast, just Nerds with Attitude on Instagram. And Miguel is Migs _ NWA Podcast.
For all the behind
Twitter.
the scenes and
For
stuff
you twat
we can't
fans.
air.
Yeah, the dick pics.
With one S.
It's Brian's, not mine.
Is it Migs with one S?
No, the thing is we have to figure out whose is whose. That's the
It's
game.
it's one
And
S,
if you do,
but-
you win a G.I. Joe.
It's one S, but
One of
surprisingly
Kevin's, too.
9 Gs.
They'll win Kevin's flag. That's what
Yeah,
they'll
you win Kevin's flag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I wanna talk about
newsworthy.
that.
So
Yes.
I
Yes.
finally joined the Admirals Club. Woohoo! And I own a flag now. So I am thrilled.
Lucky bastard.
I saved and I sold a lot of my collection to pay for it
Yeah.
because that was my wife's instructions. She's like, yeah, I'm fine that you paid this much for it,
Yeah.
but you need to sell this much to pay back for it. And I'm like,
That's surprising.
That's
though.
fair.
The amount you paid, you actually got pretty much damn
well, I'll
near
just say I
complete.
paid $400.
Yeah.
And the only thing it's missing is the fantail railing, which is
Okay,
common.
common, yeah.
And one little radar dish for
Okay.
one of the little side radars, which run like $6 to replace that. Otherwise,
Hmm.
the microphone is there, and the microphone works.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's got.
Who wants to
You
buy
got
it?
the holy grail of the holy grail.
$250 if you guys want to buy the microphone.
And you know what? They're not even listed on eBay.
Yeah.
Mike, I was telling Mike about it, and I was trying to be like, what do they sell for?
Yeah.
They aren't listed on eBay, so no one is currently selling one. So I think if I wanted to pay off my flag in
Yeah.
full, I'd just sell my. I even bought a replacement speaker for it
Okay.
from Germany. But even from Germany, it only costs $5.
Oh, really?
That, including shipping.
Yeah.
Being an audio guy, it'll be really easy to
Exactly.
swap that out.
Solder it.
So
Boom.
we're going to hook it up to a Pioneer 300-watt amp. And then the neighbors will hear me landing ships from across the street. So, but $400 was actually the max that I wanted to spend, and I was actually willing to spend that on something that was incomplete and
Yeah.
kind of rebuild it over the years for missing parts. But I mean, it's like the antenna mast is
project.
unbroken. I mean, it's in and it's not yellowed. The
Yeah.
decals, a couple decals are missing for some of the little black and white piping around the
And
edges.
if you
but-
want that, I got the sticker sheet that you can have.
oh, is it? You didn't use it?
I never used it. I'm just
Oh,
gonna
then
keep it as
I
it
might
is.
steal a couple from
The
it, 'cause-
radar dish, you can have that too. You know, it's fine.
Oh, all right. Then I'll be rating your
Exactly.
flag parts. Because now you didn't pay for it. Now, granted, I didn't get as good a deal as Miguel did, which was the deal of a lifetime.
I was
$3.99.
lucky.
But
okay?
but seriously, that was
$3.99.
deal of a lifetime. That
Yeah.
was a great win where he won his flag in a raffle.
Did you have to pay for the raffle?
25.
It was a $25 entry fee.
What?
You could enter as many times as you wanted.
And I wasn't going to enter, but
Right.
my wife, since she was up there, she did it behind my back and was like, "Oh, I entered you in the raffle."
What?
So I mean, total
And-
shock.
and
how many
won.
people? How many people?
I think there was like a good 15, 20 people.
Damn.
Yeah, enough that the store owner would, make his money on the flag
Yeah.
Right.
just off of the raffle tickets.
Damn.
I think he was hoping to maybe make some profit
More
off of it.
profit off of it.
But yeah, no. So you scored. Now I got my flag. Now the hard part is my Joe room, which there's a video on YouTube, so you can see what my Joe room currently looks like. Needs a lot of remodel. It needs a lot of stuff cleared out and a lot of
Yeah.
the space cleared for an 8-foot-long aircraft carrier. So we'll.
Which you can't hang from the ceiling.
I cannot hang it from the ceiling. This is
And
true.
My idea was to put it in his pool,
I was with you with that. That's
but his
a great
wife
idea.
was against that.
Well, yeah, we're gonna get a piece of plywood and just a bunch of pool noodles,
noodles
underneath it, and we're
Sweet.
just gonna set it sail.
We're gonna get beers. We're gonna sit
the
out there and
pool.
just play GI Joe.
Put a
all
nice little
afternoon.
netting so it doesn't get yellowed, over the.
Oh, that's true. Because the plastic. Yeah. Good idea.
All right. In actual news,
That is news, Kevin.
BotCon is happening right now, or
BotCon.
just ended. It was
Today's the last day.
today's the last day, as we record this, and there was some surprise GI Joe news in BotCon.
Yeah, it's their crossover for the club, since apparently this is the last year for BotCon under Fun Publications,
BotCon.
most likely GI Joe Club. But they're actually doing a big crossover set instead of last year where they did individual figures or 2-pack figures.
Well, was it last year's BotCon that they did the bats?
Yeah, the
with,
bats with Old Snake,
and
Melissa Fairborn from the later versions of the Transformers.
Right. So you had those two G.I. This one actually has 3 G.I. Joe figures. You have Ninja Force Scarlet,
which is the last one I need and I can't get. Fuck.
Yeah. They have the 91 black and silver Cobra Commander, which is just kind of a repaint of the Dollar General version.
Yeah.
So, which was already in black. So, and then Dr. Biggles Jones, which was from
I was unfamiliar with. That's a comic, or
no, she's from G.I. Joe. In the later runs, it was the 130s, 140s, where G.I. Joe Transformers was it where the green Megatron tank.
Okay,
comes
so
from.
she's from the comic.
She's
verse.
canon. She actually was she was sort of the female Dr. Mindbender that was looking at this Transformers technology and working with Cobra Commander to figure it out. And then I saw that green tank, which is Megatron, before this was announced. I was like, hey, that looks just like the one from the comic book. Turns out it's from this this pack. So everybody's staring at me because I just hit my microphone.
Yep.
And I was bitching at everybody like,
Don't bang on the table.
Party foul.
I know.
It's okay.
Take a shot.
We're dealing with...
Take a shot of the hydrogen/oxygen. That's what we're drinking, guys. Hydrogen and 2-part hydrogen, 1-part oxygen?
Oh, it's dihydrogen monoxide.
That's what we're
that stuff
drinking.
is poison, guys.
That's what we're
It's
drinking.
in everything.
It's in everything.
Ask
shot
your
of it.
aunt
Frickin' poison.
Susie on Facebook. She'll tell you.
So the only unfortunate thing about this is don't know a price point yet.
Oh, I'm going to guess with the club it's probably $149.
I mean, do you remember the price of last
What
the figures were last year for the crossover?
No,
I think it was like 60 per pack, and that was
something
just,
like
How
that.
many
Yeah,
characters do you get?
For last year, it was just
well, the girl on the motorcycle.
one figure and a stationary motorcycle that didn't transform.
And that was the cheaper of the two, and I want to say that one was like $50.
Yeah.
And then it was 2 bats that turned into drones, and then
Cobra
one
Commander.
Cobra Commander figure, which is called Old Snake, and that one was like $70.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as 3 figures and 2, I'm guessing probably easily 120 and 150.
Oh, yeah,
so
I mean-
we'll find out afterwards and maybe report on it later. So I was around issue 142. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, as well as all the stuff that's been coming out of BotCon this weekend, I mean, the stuff they have coming up for the Titan Wars, and these figures are looking really, really great right now.
In a couple of weeks, we'll do a full BotCon recap, and we can get like Austin on the back
definitely.
on the podcast and get deep. We'll go deep. So, in comics, Back to the Future has been running a comic for a couple issues now. They've already done 5.
Yeah.
And the first 5, if you aren't familiar, they sort of cover the time frames between the movies.
The movies, yeah.
All right, so they're kind of filling in gaps. What we're reporting on is issue 6 will be the first sort of expanded universe material, where this is going to take place after
Number 3.
episode 3, after Marty comes back from the Old West, and kind of expand on his future in 1986.
Now, the only thing I wasn't clear on really quick was, I mean, remember when they came out with the cartoon back in the like early 90s?
Not really.
It's after 3 when Doc Brown comes and he's got the kids from the lady and everything. Does it kind of show that in there with Doc Brown and kids, or it's just Doc Brown and...
Not in this preview, but
Okay.
I'm sure all of that is covered
Okay.
in the first 5 episodes. So, but yeah, Brian doesn't want anybody to know that he's getting up and leaving the table. Apparently, he hates Back to the Future.
He's got a pay break.
We've
I thought he
offended
liked Back
his
to-
sensibilities.
I thought he liked Back to
If
the
you know
Future.
anything about Brian, it's that he hates Back to the Future.
That's the one thing you need to know about me.
I thought you liked Back to the Future. When you guys went, whose house were you guys at for the last meeting? And he had
Norm.
Norm's, and then he
Yes.
had that DeLorean, the Lego DeLorean.
Yeah, his 80s-ville and the
Yeah.
DeLorean's flying
No, I
above
should-
it.
I should-
Brian-
been there.
but
That
Brian-
was awesome.
But Brian's taking pictures with the DeLorean, like with a smile on
I
his
was
face.
just pretending the whole time.
Yeah, no. You saw
he
what
really?
happened as soon as we talked about Back to the Future. He just got up and
Yeah,
left.
like,
Dude,
screw this.
He had to get
he's
his
a diva.
dihydrogen
off
monoxide.
camera, off radio. He's a diva.
Dude,
Just
I
whatever.
just, I only like fashion. That's all I watch. Seriously.
All right, so
Say
let's
yes
talk.
to the dress. It's all about me.
Why does your dihydrogen
Can you believe that
monoxide?
Karen did not go for that $2,500
Oh
dress?
my God! Are you serious?
I know. So in
Great
Say Yes
Scott.
to the Dress news, there was one bride who's actually suing the show because they're going to air her.
Can you believe that?
They're going to air her episode before her wedding date, and so she thinks it's bad luck for her husband to be to see her wedding dress
What?
before before
You
the
know what?
wedding.
She
so
signed
she
the
goes.
waiver.
Yeah.
That's her
So
fault.
she goes to court, and the judge is like, "So why can't your husband just not watch that
Yeah.
episode?" And she's
Yeah.
like, "Well, I guess." She's like, "Okay, so we're done here. You
Oh
fucking
my
idiot."
gosh.
Yeah.
Bridezilla.
These guys know way more about this show than I do. I'm actually kind of disturbed now. I love Back to the Future.
Hey,
I was
Let
just
it out,
bullshitting.
man.
Hey
Let
man,
it
I was
out.
just
you
bullshitting.
brought up Yes to the Dress. If you want to talk Property Brothers, we could do a whole other
hell yeah.
episode about that. So,
I don't have cable.
I have a wife who is like does mainlines HGTV
Yeah.
shows, so I pick them up through being in the house. So. In sort of comics turns TV news is a reboot of the show The Tick.
That was
Now you guys remember when who was it? Putty,
good old Patrick Warburton.
Patrick Warburton,
Yeah.
Wheels
play the
from
Tick.
Family Guy. So it's going to actually be Peter Serafinowicz. So if you're not familiar with the name,
Hey, Peter.
he was one of the head Nova guards in Guardians of the Galaxy. He was the undead roommate in Shaun of the Dead. And if you saw Spy, the Melissa McCarthy movie, he was the oversexed,
Which you all should, by the way.
Italian spy that kind of teams up with her, who is hilarious in that whole thing. I think he's an okay choice. He's a real big, tall dude.
No,
so-
choice-wise, he's great. But what they want to do with the Tick is what I think is going to be the big issue on making. They wanting to make it a darker themed
It's
series.
darker and more grounded.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's the Tick. There's a fucking cow as
Yeah,
a bad. It's
exactly.
Mad Cow. I think is the name of one of
Shut
the
up. Are you serious?
Yeah,
I mean, what was his sidekick's name?
Arthur. Who
Okay, the
dresses
moth.
up as a moth.
I mean, come on.
There's a bad guy who tries to carve his name into the moon, but gets stuck halfway. So the moon just has like 3 letters carved into it for the whole run of the series. It's a fucking goofy. I mean, it's a comic that makes fun of superheroes in its own way. It's sort of lampooning that superhero mentality. So to make it grounded in reality makes no sense. I mean, Batman. Well, come on.
Oh yeah, that's
He's
right.
the mayor from Dark Knight.
Uh-huh.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Dude looks like he has permanent eyeliner on all the time.
hilarious.
Yes, the guy is named Nestor Carbonara or something like
Well,
that.
the original
he's in Bates Motel.
Okay.
As the sheriff.
The original Tick only had 9 episodes.
Yeah, and it's great. You should
I mean,
definitely track
those
it out.
9
And this is-
episodes was really great.
And this is going to be an Amazon exclusive, so it probably will be a short run. Also, I would imagine probably 6 or 12. At
So
the
are they
most.
trying? Are they trying to compete with Netflix as far as content? Is that why they're doing that?
Amazon's got some good stuff going for
Do
it.
they?
Well, oh, yeah, Amazon's been producing its own content for a long time.
Yeah, it's got good stuff going on.
I'm blanking out on what its first big breakout independent produced show was. Oh man, I want to say Hannibal or something, but I don't think that's right.
No, they
That
have
was
one
on
that's
CBS,
about like what happens if the World War II went a different direction.
Well, the Man in the High Castle.
Man in High Castle, which I've watched the 1st episode and was like,
But a year or two ago, they had put out their own content.
Yeah,
that,
not sure.
And it was fuck. I'm blanking on it now. You know what I wish is Sony PlayStation will put out more because their Heroes, their superhero show was great. Powers.
Okay.
I would love a second season of that. I think it really stood out. Did you ever see Powers?
I never watched it. You told me to watch it, and I started watching.
It was
other
a
stuff.
He
Sharto
doesn't
Copley
trust you.
from District 9, and he played Hannibal on A-Team. Not Hannibal. I mean Murdoch on A-Team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he plays a guy. It's in a world where people have superpowers. In a world, and he was like his name was Diamond. He was the Superman of that world, and he lost his powers.
What?
So now he's just a normal cop who has to deal with people with superpowers. It was a great show.
It's kind of messed up. You think about it, like I used
What
to
a
be like
predicament.
that.
Well, that was the point. It's
Yeah.
it's a drama with superpowers and stuff. So, anyways, it's everything Heroes isn't,
Oh,
which is
okay.
great.
Yeah, Heroes was just I don't know what happened to that.
So now
Writer's
we're off
strike.
on a tangent again. In more reboot news is Tomb Raider.
Very
So
excited.
my favorite new actress, Daisy Ridley, has been announced to be
she's
Announced
easy on
and
the
confirmed.
and confirmed that she's going to be new Lara Croft.
I'm really excited about this. Like, especially with when they rebooted the series with the last few years with the new character, and she's more grittier.
Are you talking about the video game?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I haven't played it since like PlayStation 1. So.
Oh, okay.
Which
You
I
know,
can actually play on my Raspberry Pi.
You know,
This episode
it's-
brought to you by
Raspberry Pi.
Brian's homemade Raspberry Pi.
To be honest, when Lara Croft first came out, even on the PC, I mean, it was the beginnings of trying to get as much realism with rendering, and
Right.
you know, Lara Croft ended up being a sex symbol because the amount of cleavage they pixelated up, and
well, they were
one of the most first female, I guess, adventurers.
Mm-hmm. She was a female Indiana Jones.
Yeah, So I mean, the series had its run. They did the movies and everything, but now with this whole reboot, it's giving a fresh take that she's not a sex symbol. She's a adventurer. She's in this for.
Well, I mean, Han Solo did sort of pass the torch to her to be the adventurer.
That is true. I didn't think about that.
So this totally makes sense. I think she's a perfect choice. After watching Force Awakens, I think she's totally charismatic.
Like, hopefully she has a long career.
She can obviously do the physical aspects of the role. If you follow her on social media at all, she is constantly posting like some of her workout photos and stuff like that. Dude, the chick is ripped, man.
We're still talking about Daisy Ridley?
Yeah. What are you looking at?
Well, I'm looking at her bikini pics just to see what she's going to look like
All right,
in the Tomb Raider
We'll
gear.
share those
I don't know.
photos.
It looks like she's going to have her handguns where her butt cheeks go. Like, that's where her holsters are going to be.
It's not.
Whatever. I don't know. I'm just making sure. Because, Laura Croft.
Yeah. But
has-
so you wanted to make
piece.
Yes.
And that's probably going to be the one complaint from fanboys out there is her boobs aren't big enough. Who gives a shit, man? Go look at internet porn and then come back 2 minutes later and watch a good movie. You assholes.
She got grandma butt cheeks.
This is me taking on fanboys. You bunch of fucking assholes.
Oh, wow. That escalated quickly. We were just talking about
I think we just lost 4 listeners.
Did you have your
4
coffee
fanboy
today?
listeners?
Maybe I had too much coffee the day.
Oh, no,
So, no
that's
information
Kate.
on
that's
the-
Kate Cassidy. I don't think that's her.
No, that's not her.
Really no information on that yet, but we will definitely
That
update
doesn't-
you
This is why we
as
need
that gets
feminism.
produced.
That does look like a Laura Croft, though. But
I don't know.
You perv.
All
just
right.
saying. I mean, I remember playing Tomb Raider, and the Tomb Raider I remember would do the splits as she jumps over like a cliff when she does and like cross over like scissor legs. I don't know if you remember that. I played Tomb Raider a lot.
Sounds like it.
He remembers that, but not playing Tomb Raider.
All right, and also
Moving on.
Moving on in TV news is some spin-off news for Doctor Who, and Miguel is our Doctor Who fan at the table.
When this was
Excuse me?
first announced,
Brian,
it was
you
kind
only
of
like Back to the Future. We've established this.
Yeah, bore us with your knowledge.
you got your
Sorry.
time travel, I got my Time Lord. So
They could meet in the middle.
that is true.
There's comics. They have done it, I believe. No?
I think they
And,
did,
what
or
if?
they're gonna. I don't know.
Hey, Batman and Judge Dredd teamed up in a crossover series, so
That
I
is
don't
true.
know why Back to the Future and Doctor Who.
No, pretty much this is going to be a.
It'd be
A s-
funny if like the TARDIS is flying through time and space, and the DeLorean comes up behind him trying to pass, and he's flashing his headlights trying to get around.
Get out of the
Let's
way.
get Scott to animate that. That'd be funny.
Get out the way.
Pretty much what this is. With BBC, it seems like BBC. It seems like Doctor Who's kind of coming on its last leg. One of the longtime original show writers, I apologize, I forgot his
Stephen
name.
Moffat.
Okay, who was actually one of the original Doctor Who's, had it's his last year. He doesn't see it going really anywhere, so they're passing on the torch. But in the meantime, while they figure everything out, what's happening is they've decided, I think this is going to be a web-based series at first.
Okay.
And the premise is pretty much you're the last of the Time Lords and you get hidden on Earth in, the usual setting for Doctor Who, where it's London, England, just that whole setting. But you're going to be in a boys and girls boarding school. I don't know what
Do you
they
know
call
what the
them
name
out
of the
there.
school is?
It-
It says Shore Dick.
It's Dr. Xavier's.
Coal Hill Secondary
Hill.
School.
Yeah,
Shore
which is-
Dick.
which is that Coal Hills area, which is always in the theme of
The
the
T is
teachers,
silent.
and-
Shoreditch.
A Shoreditch.
But the premise is pretty much while he's having to experience what being an Earthling is like, and people, the aliens and like dialects and all those have found out where he's at. So what they've kind of said is it's going to be like almost a Buffy type, where each week
They're fighting a
there's
different monster,
different
kind of thing.
antagonists, things like that.
You had said Time Lords. They're just like sole survivors of their planets.
Yeah.
They aren't more Time Lords. It's pretty established that there's only one Time Lord.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just a bunch of it's like British WB show. It's a bunch of young, pretty people in a school fighting monster of the week kind of thing. So
But
we'll
it's
see.
better.
But But if it's written well, like Doctor Who used to be, then who knows?
So-
I jumped off board when who's the old guy that's in the Peter something?
Oh, Cabaldi.
So is this
Capaldi.
show like the UK version of Glee? Is that what you're saying?
Probably less
We'll
singing.
go watch less singing.
less singing.
More aliens than singing, I would imagine.
Yeah, I
it
think,
is. Although Glee would be awesome if they went like a whole alien route. Like if they did like an X-Files Glee kind of
That'd be
crossover.
funny.
That'd be awesome. Did X-Files ever do a musical episode?
No, but they did a gamer episode, which is just god awful. As a friend listener Gary and I discussed a few weeks ago, or this week.
Yeah, because he's
'Cause
been on
going
a
through.
tangent, like just
Well,
trying to
I
get
just
through
finished, I
everything.
just did the whole thing he did like 2 months ago
Yeah.
before the new series came out, and I'm getting like, watch out for that episode. It's going to be a doozy. And he's like, oh my god, it sucked so bad. And I'm like,
Did you ever
I
watch
know.
the Lone Gunman series?
I need to go back and find it.
It's great.
I know.
I mean, it's just one season,
Mhm.
but
And
it's great. I might have it on DVD to loan you. I'll have to
Okay.
check.
Yeah, it's what's his name? It's Vince Gilligan.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of which, I just started watching Better Call Saul, so you're
Better
all
Call
welcome.
Saul.
Yeah,
I got one episode in, so I'm good.
Still just one?
Yeah, and it took me 2 nights to watch it. I got a lot on my plate. It's hard to find extra TV time.
all right. Speaking of watching, we can't go a podcast without talking about The Walking Dead.
All right, you big crybabies.
Season end.
All right, season end.
Catch
All right.
up.
Spoilers alert.
Spoiler alert.
Who gives a fuck?
Everybody.
Come on.
No, seriously, this episode was just like all the rest. It was just a whole lot of nothing leading up to our,
4 minutes at the end where you're like,
yeah,
what
we're
the
like,
fuck?
oh shit, here comes Negan. Finally, we get Negan, and then this is how we're gonna end it.
Like the way they did the beginning. I mean, come on. At some point, like watching Rick going, "Oh no, we'll just go the other way. We'll just go this."
Right.
You're like, dude, you already know they're gonna be at every exit
Yeah,
you're trying to go to.
The whole point was them working him down, like he doesn't have any control anymore. His arrogance got him into this,
and you could see it when
Yeah,
he
and he
dropped
starts-
to his knees. He's
Yep.
just
and which is great, and I can understand that. And I know what they're going with it, but my question to you guys is the way it ended with an ambiguous ending of
Yeah.
who was.
Which I think that's
Bludgeoned
what's
to
irritated people is that they haven't done that in previous seasons, correct?
Well, the thing is, it's always a. I mean, even between season, like the season break,
yeah.
it's a cliffhanger.
Yeah, you don't know if Glenn was dead.
You don't know if
and-
Glenn was dead, and he comes back. You don't know for 3 more
know,
episodes.
Because
But the thing is, it's alienating. Okay, you build up to this point just to drag it out
Yeah.
to a new season.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
No, it's not
no,
okay.
it's not okay. I don't feel it's okay.
A lot of the episodes
Does
were
it
shitty.
bother me like it does a lot of other people? No, because it's Walking Dead, and this is what I expect from Walking Dead now, which is
Well, the TV show is like rapidly catching up to the comic source material, also. So,
Sort
which
of,
I
yeah.
can see why they. And I understand they're on sort of parallel but separate
divergent-
paths.
Yeah.
there's a
But still, I
divergent-
mean, for hitting some of the big notes,
yeah,
they're catching up quick. So I can see why they would
'cause-
want to stretch it out because Walking Dead may only go like
But
8 or 9 seasons.
Some of the episodes they drag out because it's like Carl when he was talking to the young girl in the armory.
yeah.
Are you talking about how
whole
much he likes
Enid-
pudding?
I don't even know what they were talking. I skipped through it. I couldn't bear watch. I don't want to hear people. What? I'm like, I don't give a shit. Let's get to zombie killing or running from a
because
zombie.
I watched Talking Dead after, and just depending on if Nick,
Cannon?
Nick Cannon's in this.
He's hosting.
Nick Nicotero, no,
Nicotero.
Nicotero,
Hey.
and then
That's a bad word.
shut up.
Nicotero, please.
But when at the season end, they usually have on the Talking Dead, the creator of the Walking Dead book. Then you have the producer, and Chris Hardwick brought up the fact that hey, most people are kind of miffed that that's how you ended it. And he goes, are you a fan of cliffhangers? And he goes, yeah, to me, I was that. Who shot JR and who,
There's
so
a
I like
cliffhanger.
that stuff.
Right.
And he goes, so I assume if people want to watch, that's, they'll enjoy it.
There's cliffhangers, and then there's just what the fuck.
Yeah.
This was not a cliffhanger.
This was
No.
a what
Granted,
the fuck.
it to me again. I watched it. I'm like, I expected no less. This is how they're going to end it. But that's not a cliffhanger. I don't know what that is, but a cliffhanger is wait till the next episode, and you get to see the progression of what's going on.
Right.
Not we're going to get to the point where we know what we're going to do. but then we're not going to show you what we're going to do. We've led up to this entire thing, this entire series, and then we're just going to go. We're just going to go take a picture.
It'll last longer.
And so it was just kind of. I looked over at my wife. And I'm like, "That's how they're going to do that then." I said, okay.
Disappointing.
And I said, it is what it is. If you watch The Walking Dead, you should not be surprised. You should not be upset about it. It is what it is. It's crap.
But I mean,
it's total crap.
In this day and age, I mean, you're always going to get bitching from somebody because it's the internet.
And if it ended the normal
instant.
way, people would bitch and complain. How come they killed so and so?
And you know,
it's just what it is.
I looked at it because I didn't read I'm not reading the graphic novels. So I'm going based off the show.
Yeah, me too.
That's what I'm doing. I've read through them, but I'm not. They're two entities. They're two separate.
So, I mean,
worlds.
you have your hardcore fans that are going to be reading the graphic novels. So you know, like Scott, he said he kind of gave up on it after like I think the first season and a half because the way the comic was going was completely different than when the show was going. So you know, they said this was the 100th issue for. The Walking Dead graphic novel.
Right.
Okay. So they wanted to make this episode a big deal, which in their minds I could see where they were going. Okay. But it didn't translate.
It didn't
to the
translate
fans.
the way that they think it should have.
It was slow and it
was
drug it out.
slow.
It
did
dragging.
not need to be a 90-minute episode either.
Yeah.
It certainly did not.
And for
need
the
to be 90
peak, the
minutes.
climax, it wasn't even climactic.
No,
was
it's like, you know,
are we gonna let's get this over
getting
with.
it on with your girl, and all of a sudden
But-
the phone rings and you just forget all about it.
But honestly, the introduction of Negan, that was cool.
It was great.
That
It was great.
Just his demeanor.
Well, in my opinion, the way they did it, we weren't fully introduced to him. We need to see his brutality.
And that's when the upcoming season, they said the first few episodes, that's when you really see who Negan is.
Right. And if I can do a callback too, when they raided the that outpost.
Yeah.
Remember when they raided the outpost? They killed everybody, stabbing him in the head.
Yeah.
If you remember, there was pictures on one guy's wall with all the bloody, nasty
Yeah.
heads. I guarantee that's Negan's work.
Okay.
You know,
Instead
the
of
guy
it
was like,
wasn't
he's
his
a fan.
kills of a-
Those were his kills.
Okay.
And this guy was just like, "Oh, take Polaroids, stick them on my wall."
Also, they
'cause
were
I'm a freak."
glorifying him.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the guy that did it. It was Negan.
Yeah, it was
that did
Negan that did it. And he's just like, "Look at this guy's work." You know,
Nice.
that's the way I see it. I kind of put that two and two together and thought
That's pretty
maybe
slick.
that works.
You're right.
Brian, are you watching Fear the Walking Dead?
I refuse to watch Fear the Walking Dead.
Did you get completely burned on the first season?
The first 3 episodes, I'm like, this is bullshit.
It came back.
I'm giving
This is
it
total
this
bullshit.
season
Yeah.
to decide if I'm going to continue or not.
It came back?
Yeah.
It's tonight's the premiere for the second season.
Oh, I thought it was a couple of nights ago. I'm sorry. So you're not going to watch?
No, I have
and
no-
Miguel, you're
no
going to watch?
interest.
I'm going to watch just because, you know, it for me, like I said, since I didn't read the graphic novel, this is just another side of the universe. I can kind of go, okay, well, this is kind of how it started, see how the progression from civilization started to crumble. So, like I said, I'm going to give it this season, and by the end of the season, if I'm like not hooked like I was with Walking Dead that first season, I'm done with Talking Dead. Or I'm done.
All
with
I know from the promos is that like it takes place on a boat. I'm like, well, that's not going to last long.
Yeah, I
what
mean,
is that like? Maybe 2 episodes.
It's honestly probably going to try to do that, like Island of the Dead type
Zombie
thing.
dolphins.
Zombies riding dolphins.
Oh,
With laser beams.
aim for the blowhole. That's my motto in life, generally speaking.
aim for the blowhole, guys.
Supergirl, and I mean, this is
So there was the crossover with
That was
Supergirl and
awesome.
the Flash,
fun, really fun episode.
which is neat because those are on different networks. So they
Different
were
networks,
kind of
different
Yeah,
planes
so
of
they
existence.
explained it by multiverse, which
Yeah.
was awesome.
And apparently also, we're not going to do that again, was sort of the report afterwards. Like, we did it
Really?
once. That was fun for everybody. This is not going to be a regular thing.
Yeah.
So don't expect to see Supergirl with the Flash people anymore.
Yeah, it was a good episode. I mean, I'm enjoying Supergirl. I don't know if they're renewing it or not. I know it was kind of ambiguous whether or not they were.
I
but
really
I hope
hope
they
they
do.
do.
I
Yeah.
hope they do. I mean, it's a fun show. I enjoy it. It's campy. It's silly. It's tongue in cheek almost, but
I mean, it's a good
it
family
knows what
show,
it is.
too.
It's a family show. It's got really good actors, really good stories. I mean, they're comic book stories, and that's what's great about it. I mean, they're just, you've got the Red Tornado, you've got, the Banshee.
I think
you've
what
got-
the next episode coming up, Helen Slater is going to be on there.
right.
Who's that?
She was the
Original
Supergirl.
Supergirl from the
Oh, in the
80s.
movie?
From the
Yeah.
motion
Oh, cool.
pictures.
I didn't know her name.
Since you guys talking about superheroes, Doctor Strange.
Oh,
Anybody
yeah.
know what's going on with that?
Oh, yeah.
I keep seeing.
with Benedict Cumberbatch.
I keep seeing random.
I am
stuff
so
on the
glad
internet.
that they're doing like natural fabric material, like cotton and
Oh,
and,
not the super
so
suits
like
and-
everybody that gets to be a superhero is suddenly wearing a fucking leather outfit, and Doctor Strange is all like cotton and wool and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It looks great on what they've done. They did the big red collar on him. I think Benedict Cumberbatch looks the part, and he's great. I'm on board with him now after seeing him a bunch of like watching the Sherlocks and stuff. I think he'll be just fine.
See, like for me, I'm kind of excited to see this just for the fact that Doctor Strange, with me being a Spider-Man fan, I've seen his interaction with Spider-Man on that level. So I don't know his full backstory.
I don't know much about him.
It's just mainly when like he's been around with Spider-Man or helping him out on certain things.
Right. Yeah, I just know he's into magic, so we're just gonna.
What's funny about this because the pictures they have. If I was in New York and saw that, I'd be like, "Why are these guys LARPing?"
Like there was some footage that went around of like a short little video of like where they're running through the street just jumping,
and hopping,
and it just looked because you figure, okay, well the effect of that is then they'll probably be flying up in the air using magic powers, but this is the practical first part of that where they jump, and it looks really silly.
It looks like they're LARPing. I'm like, what is going on?
But somebody else put up a photo where it's Benedict Cumberbatch in a comic book shop
dressed
as Doctor Strange,
buying
Doctor Strange. I was like, that's
that.
fucking awesome. So I think that one will be fine. It's a Marvel. They haven't gone wrong with anything else. With any of like the titles that the general public isn't familiar with, Ant-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah.
So I think this one's just going to be just as good. And even me, like for Black Panther, which I have no interest in, will probably end up being a really good movie once I see it and make me a fan.
If
So.
you see it. If you see it.
So that wasn't me this time, Mr.
I put a cap
Snuff.
on my water.
So what you guys are hearing, this noise right here? So we
have them trapped in the basement.
I'll put up the photo. We're trying out some new microphone stands, but I did not get the correct shock mount for them, so you're actually hearing the noise of the springs as we're moving around and me being clumsy and accidentally bumping into him, or
just trying to have
Brian
trying to build a
stroking
couch
stroking his bottle.
Brian's doing some heavy lumber work on the tabletop.
Stroking his bottle on the table.
That's what
I'm making a cake for my raspberry
just
pie.
leave the cap off. No one's going to spill it.
I mean,
all right, we got a couple more things to get into. We're actually, this is going by really fast today, you guys. Let's talk about Rogue One trailer. That
Can
dropped.
we please? Can we
Yes.
talk about Rogue One?
Fucking
God.
please.
Saw that.
I'm really
Incredible.
disappointed with the fact that every Star Wars movie now has a female lead. That's
I
really
mean,
annoying.
this is
You
the
shut
second
your
one.
face hole.
This is everyone.
You have a daughter to think
Also,
about.
www, go
I'm
fuck yourself.
excited.
I think it's great. I don't have
This-
a problem with it.
It was with Daisy Ridley with episode 7. Okay,
Yeah.
and
Fantastic.
Now,
And see how that worked out?
I'm not
Great.
sure. I don't know this actress's name. Who's going to be in the lead? I guess.
Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Keep talking.
But it's just it. I think in a way it's Disney kind of trying to give them that little female empowerment. The Disney princess.
I don't necessarily think that way. I just think it's a role. They filled it with a female actress.
Her name is Felicity Jones.
Any notable credits for anything?
Well, she plays Jyn Erso. And
Which is a very Star Wars name.
she was in Amazing Spider-Man 2, The Theory of Everything, a couple other stuff like that. Nothing huge that I would say. She's kind of an unknown, which I like that Star Wars is doing.
Yeah.
They're kind of
Yeah, that's how it
casting.
works.
I mean, these are working actors with credits, but they're relatively
They're not
unknown
top tier character
and
names.
giving them a break. Now, based on the trailer for this, we'll just start with her. It's kind of ambiguous whether she's a good guy and will turn bad guy or what her journey is in the story. Unlike Daisy Ridley, who has charisma just coming out of every pore of her body, and I just adore the shit out of her.
Yeah.
With this girl, whose name I just forgot again, Felicity Jones. But just based on the trailer, I don't dig her. I'm not like, oh, that character looks interesting. I'm assuming she'll grow on me in the movie, and I'll end up liking her, which I really am hopeful for because I want to like this movie a lot.
Yeah.
But just based on the trailer, I'm like, oh, her, whatever.
Was it acting like Ben Stein trying to clean her eye? I'm against the ball.
What I'm the most excited for is that this movie takes place during the same
It's before
time period
episode
as
4.
77, episode 4. That this is the story of how the rebels stole the plans to the Death Star.
Mon Mothma. Hello, did you see her?
Oh my god!
Oh my
that,
God!
I don't know if that's CG or incredible
No, it's just
casting.
incredible casting.
But
Apparently, she was the one that they had in episode 3.
okay.
Playing the young Mon Mothma, but then they brought her back for this, and
That's-
she's identical. It's like you couldn't tell the two apart if you needed
Yeah,
to.
Her name
that-
is Genevieve O'Reilly.
That throwback Thursday was hilarious. Having what
77,
and then 2016. Is I mean, uncanny.
Yeah, no, and Forrest Whitaker, Alan Tudyk, Mads Mikkelsen. Mads Mikkelsen was the guy who played Hannibal.
The Forrest Whitaker, I'm like,
We'll see.
What
Yeah,
character
you
is he
ever
playing?
have so
What
much-
character is he playing?
You
he
ever have
almost looks
so
like
much
he
force
plays
it
a
gives
bounty
you-
hunter or something.
As far as IMDb goes, his character is not listed, which I actually appreciative
He plays
of.
Ghost Dog.
But wow.
He's Ghost Fett.
Oh my
Fett.
god.
What,
It looked like he had armor on though. That
He might be a
the stormtroopers were.
Mandalorian. Don't know.
It looks like there's some sort of samurai type of thing going on with some
Mentor
type
or
of
some
characters,
sort of-
but I like that IMDb is not giving character names for a lot of the people
Yeah.
who are in it because that's just a spoiler, and then that shit gets out on the internet, and the nerds go crazy and just fucking
We'll see it
be
in the toys and a half.
fucking surprised
half.
soon.
They already released the box art for
You know
it.
what's
So.
you know what's funny? That his eye is going to be straight on the toy because they always make the toys. Right? So they're going to actually make it where it's,
You ever feel the force so strong it gives you Forrest Whitaker eye?
I don't know if they want them to be accurate. They should have them be made by the people who did the 50th anniversary GI Joes,
Oh my
and then the
God.
eyes would be perfect because they're all
You know, now what my wife said at the Toys R Us yesterday made total sense. She goes, "Look, he has a Forrest Whitaker eye." It's like,
now you know.
what? Why?
Have you not seen this meme? It's hysterical.
No.
Yeah, he's got a bad eye.
He's got like a bad eye, but it's like he's always like, you know, he's got, it's a
Great visual
it's a
for the podcast.
podcast, right?
Hey, I interviewed Norm. You know, he's doing.
The packaging for Rogue One looks good.
Yeah,
it's sort of a blue and white kind of look to it. But yeah, I love seeing familiar, like it is the original AT-AT, original Stormtroopers, original hardware, but you get to see them in different worlds. And I think that's kind of I think Rogue One's going to be what me personally wanted out of Force Awakens. Force Awakens was a return to a mix
Episode
of
4 of
practical effects and familiar worlds and familiar characters, but it was more modern X-Wings and more modern Stormtroopers, so it felt familiar and was a great movie, don't get me wrong, but I think Rogue One is going to be the world that I'm used to, with new characters and new adventures, and
can I
that's
also-
really going to be what I want.
Is this the introduction of? I mean, Rogue Squadron, and then you have like, are we going to see a Porkins in there?
I don't know.
God, I hope so.
Because I mean,
I got cosplay to do.
I would
that
imagine. I
helmet
mean,
you
in the
had on
trailer,
when
you see
post-
the.
I almost said
I
something
mean, you
about
do
that.
see the orange flight suits running around. So I mean, I would imagine this would be sort of the beginnings of the rebellion. I mean, the Scott and Jesse were talking about the Rebels cartoon, which is sort of getting us brought
Yeah,
up on
so
the on,
good.
on
Yeah.
the
So good.
creation of the rebellion. So I think this will be rebellions in full force, and there's a galactic threat, and this is what
And
we
I
have to do
believe
to
there's
stop
actually
it.
tie-ins with Rogue One to Rebels.
I hope.
which is-
I would love to see some of those characters from Rebels in
reading some of the-
in live action.
Reading some of the reviews and stuff after the season finale for Rebels, they were talking to the producer that they've been in line with people who were producing Rogue One, and that they're going to go to a certain point so that way the movie starts when they come back from a season. Everything's going to kind of line up for that.
Right.
But as
Perfect.
far as like going into like episode 8 and 9 in the future, they're probably going to have their own different path.
All right. Well, I'm excited. Mike's looking at more porn. What are you showing up?
Admiral
The
Yeah,
actor who played Adder
unfortunately.
He just
Akbar
passed
was
away.
93.
Yeah.
So no big surprise,
That
but
was his
it is
real
sad
voice.
that
That was real voice in the movie.
It's a trap.
apparently he fell into life's biggest trap.
No more Akbaros.
There's something I don't really have a joke.
I mean, I need to mention too that this movie looks like a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I put this on Facebook, but I said it looks like a movie. It doesn't look like a cutscene from a video game, which is what the last 3 movies look like to me.
You're talking episodes 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3. It looked
Right.
like they were so painted.
Yeah.
And this looks
Well,
like
technology's
a
gotten
gritty
better,
movie.
and honestly, if you're watching the behind the scenes, the special features on Force Awakens, they said the one thing, someone is on record saying it, they said we had all this technology, and the hardest thing we had to do was show restraint.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
they did. And I am like, that was the problem with episodes 1, 2, and 3 is they had all this technology and no restraint.
And they
Let's
ran
just
away with it.
use it, and it looked terrible. And that's why in Force Awakens, I will say some of it is obviously effects, but some of
Right.
it's hard to tell where the effects
Exactly.
are put in because they're using this
Tactile
technology
stuff.
effectively.
Butthole eyes.
Butthole Eyes.
That's the character. I don't know what the character's name is. The one they gave.
Maz
Unkar
Katana.
Platt,
Yeah.
the guy in the desert.
No, not
Maz
in the
Kanata.
desert. No, at the bar when they're at the club.
Oh, the little
Maz.
new female Yoda.
yeah.
Yeah, Maz.
Butthole
Yoda.
eyes.
Butthole eyes.
Saw that online.
Do you like
That's
when
why
they
I said
pucker at one point?
That's it. Yeah, exactly. That's what they called it.
And then lastly, I thought we were going to have more time to discuss this, so we'll just go out on this
We're
topic.
going out on this. From better to worse.
Again, spoiler alerts on this. We are going to discuss in detail for the next couple of minutes Batman versus Superman.
I'm going to be a spectator on this. I hadn't seen
Now-
it
You
yet.
haven't seen it?
Miguel hasn't seen it
Miguel,
yet.
you're not
I don't
missing
care.
anything.
Oh,
But-
thank you. You're like the 20th person who's told me something.
Rent it.
I plan on seeing it like Netflix or when it comes down on that. But other than that, I'm not going to waste my money to buy it
Yeah.
or even rent it.
Yeah, this is not one I'm going to be buying.
Yeah,
in my
Redbox it
collection.
for $1, and I think
Yeah.
it'll be fine. Ooh, geez, where to start? I'm going to start because I have good and bad, but unfortunately, I have more bad than good.
And that's the consensus.
And first off, off top of my list, Jesse Eisenberg is the fucking worst.
Okay, see, here's the thing. My opinion on that was I don't know if I wanted to throw him off a building or
Yeah.
congratulate him for a great performance. I can't tell.
It was not a good performance.
If I hated it.
No, it was a terrible performance.
I mean, is he supposed to be the Joker?
That was
is he
it. Like
supposed to
he's
be
kind of like
the Riddler?
a bastard love child of like he's more of a Batman villain than
Than a Superman villain.
Superman villain. And yes, we get it. He said like 10 fucking times that he's Luthor Jr. Like, yeah, my dad, Luthor started
I
this
didn't
company.
Get that. So it's Lex Luthor Jr.
I'm saying Junior. I mean, he's Lex Luthor.
Okay.
But his father started. So for the people who are like, why isn't Lex Luthor old like Superman?
Right.
Why
Yeah.
isn't he this old, distinguished,
he's a kid.
smart businessman? Because he's LexCorp's. He's the son of the man who started the whole company.
Okay,
So he's
so
like
that's-
evil
that's
genius
still
child. It's
convoluted to
fucking
me.
stupid.
It sounds
But he said
stupid,
it like
yeah.
10 times, and also with like the repeating stuff, he kind of sounded like a mix between like a Riddler character and the Joker.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's charismatic. Oh, look at that man jumping out.
Yeah,
you're
and,
right.
and a lot of his dialogue didn't make any fucking sense at all. Like, there's a 3-syllable word for any mind too small to comprehend. Like, why is that even in there? That's a stupid line. Cut it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. Let's
Speaking
cut
of
it.
cutting it, this movie's 2.5 hours long.
Okay.
And just on watching it once, I could have picked at least 15 minutes to cut from it.
I'm
just
with
from
you. Absolutely.
shortening this and shortening that. I believe that there are a lot of scenes in the movie that are apologetic to previous Batman and Superman movies.
Okay.
Would you agree, or do
Oh,
you know what I'm
absolutely.
talking about?
No, definitely. But it has some apologizing to do for itself now.
It does. But, like, for example, there is a scene where... What was a chief complaint that... I'll just say fanboys, because I'm picking on them this whole episode.
Okay.
Fuck you,
guys.
fanboys. In Christian Bale's Batman,
Yeah.
people would make fun of, why does he talk like this when he's Batman? So there's a whole scene where Batman and Alfred talk about the voice changer that he wears underneath
Right.
his costume.
Okay.
Not needed. Not needed.
It is what it
Cut.
is. It's Batman.
And then another fanboy complaint was the death toll in Man of Steel. That when they have that big Matrix fight in
Yeah.
Metropolis and they destroy everything, people are like, millions of people died. Nobody talked about that. So in Batman versus Superman, there's 2 different points that I caught.
Okay.
Where one on the news report, they're like, thank God they're fighting at night in downtown after business hours, so the city is practically deserted.
Oh yeah, when
Right.
they fell down from the.
And then when they're fighting Doomsday and he lands on an island, there's a huge explosion because they fall
Doomsday.
from space onto an island.
Okay.
Right? And they're like, don't worry, it landed on Stryker Island, which is uninhabited. And we're like, okay, I get it. You're not killing innocent people this time. Fucking shut up about it. Speaking of Doomsday,
Yes.
and chime in.
We have to, unfortunately.
I like Doomsday. Now, how they handled his powers and being indestructible stuff, that was that movie's own take. But I liked that the more you beat him up and gave him damage, he became more rocky. And, got that similar to the comic.
That initial, when he drops down, he doesn't look like that later on.
No, he starts out looking like a Lord of the Rings
Ninja Turtle.
orc.
Yeah, he looks like a
giant-
fucking Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. Way too big. I will say that.
Yeah,
and
way too big.
his scale changes a bit as they're fighting.
Okay.
Like when he's first introduced, he's got to be like 30 feet tall.
Okay.
But at the final fight, he's probably like
15,
12
20
to
feet,
15
yeah.
feet tall.
Okay.
I'm like, re-entry.
It was the camera. It was the camera angle.
Yeah, so there's some inconsistencies on scale. The movie borrows elements from the Death of Superman storyline.
Okay.
And it borrows elements from Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns.
Dark Knight Returns. Yeah.
Okay.
And they don't mix. They don't mix.
Not
well.
really. And also they kind of tried. Dark Knight Returns, I would say, is more of a dark.
Very
kind of
dark.
thing. Superman, even in the Death of Superman, is still bright and colorful, and
Yeah.
this whole movie almost takes place at night.
This movie, like I
So
told
it was an
everybody, it's
AVP2
monotone,
where everything was filmed in.
super darkness.
Almost everything is
Essentially.
dark. The tone of the movie is dark. It's
I call it
super
monochrome
heavy.
and monochromatic.
Yeah.
like
Drag.
it's just
Okay, here's one question. What the fuck is with the your mom's name is Martha memes that are going around?
Oh,
Well,
That's
what's
hilarious.
Batman's mom's name?
Hell if I know.
Martha Wayne.
Martha
Okay,
Wayne.
I'm not a Batman.
Okay,
Martha
what's
Kent.
Superman's mother's name?
Didn't know.
Martha Kent.
Martha Kent.
Just a coincidence. However, that being said, this goddamn movie starts. It fucking starts with the origin story of Batman again.
You
Again.
already know.
Again.
But
They
it's-
do the
it's
whole-
artistic though.
It's all super. That's Zack Snyder or the DP, whoever was in charge.
And it's-
I felt like they were too often going forward. Look at this art shot. This is like an art film. Look at the
Yeah.
angle and the color, and then this, and look at the gun against the pearls, and then and just fuck off. But the whole opening credit sequence is shot over the Batman origin story,
Okay.
which I feel they could have cut all that and done the opening credits
How
over
many
a
times have we seen
recap.
that in other movies?
Because there's a scene where Bruce Wayne is racing into Metropolis to help save people during the Superman fight, and there's sort of a news recap of stuff like that. Could have been your opening credit sequence as a Man
Okay.
of Steel recap, introducing Bruce Wayne and his involvement in it, that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah, we did not need more Batman.
And they
backstory.
beat
That-
you over the head with Bruce Wayne and his grief over his dead mother again and again and again, because it ties into the key moment that ends up making Batman and Superman friends, and they are friends like that.
Yeah, there is
like
no,
for
like,
a man who
hey, fuck
wants
you, man,
Superman's
but we're gonna be
death,
buds.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
they fight. And then you go, well, your
And
mom's
then-
name's Martha also? We're best buds, man. And they bro high five. And
Yeah, he's like Superman goes, clear my browsing history,
Wow.
and he's like,
You have a Pornhub account too, bro? What's up?
Man of Steel.
yeah.
dick.
But then even when that happened, Lois Lane takes the spear with the kryptonite on it and throws it in the goddamn water.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was the
And
point?
is
of
that
What was
the
the point of
introduction to Aquaman?
No.
No, that
And
shit
see,
was
that-
funny.
see, that's what I thought. I'm like, okay, this is where Aquaman's going to come
Saves it,
swimming
yeah.
up, bringing
What
it
the
back
fuck?
up.
no,
That
Aquaman.
No, that would have made sense.
That would have made sense.
No, in people talking about how like the Flash is in it, Aquaman's in it, and Wonder Woman's in it.
Yeah.
Okay. At some point, Lex Luthor has compiled information on metahumans.
Okay.
Okay. And Bruce Wayne breaks into his house and steals this file.
Okay.
And which is not explained why he knows it's there, why he's going after it. There's so much left out.
Well,
Yeah.
no,
For
they explain that with that mystery female, and she has a photo that he needs to get or something.
Yeah.
Which is she was going to get the same
And,
thing.
and with Gal Gadot, all they spend so much time showing her just seductively ditching Bruce Wayne and driving off in a car.
Yeah.
They do that 3 or 4 times before they actually. How about less
And
of that
she's
and
the
more
one-
Wonder Woman?
Okay.
She's Wonder Woman. Anyway, so Bruce Wayne finally gets this file and he opens it up and there's a little icon for all of these different members of the Justice League.
Okay.
I'm not going to say who one
Meanwhile-
of. I was gonna say I'm not going to say who one of them was because it was a genuine surprise.
They
So-
actually left a surprise.
They actually left a surprise
Oh, it wasn't
this
in the
goddamn
trailer.
movie. It wasn't in the trailer,
Doomsday's
Okay.
brother.
and nobody was really talking about it after people saw it. So I'm going to leave that as unspoiled.
Well, I think I
So,
know, but
there's
I'll
basically
ask you
there's
after.
Bruce Wayne opens a little video file or a picture or something, and so that's where he sees a video file of Aquaman.
Okay.
Basically, like swimming out of the Titanic or something.
Okay.
And he uses his trident and blows up little submarines that are trying to film him. That's it.
Okay.
Fucking
30 seconds. It's basically black and white because it's all underwater in the dark, deep sea.
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like the rest of the movie.
Yeah, the Flash appears to Bruce Wayne in what you think might be a dream sequence.
Okay.
But it's really him kind of time traveling and breaking through, and which the Flash does time travel.
Yeah,
and
the
he's,
Speed Force.
And he yells at Bruce Wayne, "Come find us! You must find us!" I'm like, all right, so Bruce Wayne's going to put together the Justice League, fine.
Okay.
But that was fine. But there was so much like lightning and effect and stuff going, you couldn't really make out the
Yeah,
Flash.
you didn't know who it
so-
was. He was wearing a helmet. I'm like, it
Yeah.
took me. I had to go home
Did,
and
a
research
bandana.
who
did it
was.
look crappy CGI or it kind of streamed together?
Looked like a Power Ranger.
It was a mess.
Power Ranger.
Seriously, he's not wrong. He looked like a Power Ranger.
Yeah,
Seriously.
it wasn't that. So yeah, go
question. So was that was the Flash in the liquor store when they showed that video?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have a file where
Why did it
it's
look
like
like
a
a woman?
He just had long hair.
Oh, he said long hair. Oh, okay.
Oh, you mean the guy who was standing at the
liquor
door,
store,
like buying
he
a
was-
40?
You know,
Yeah,
if
he's
he would have
getting
just,
40, and he's like,
watched
"Oh,
the
fuck,
movie
I gotta go."
instead of getting download off the internet.
Oh, who says I do that?
Well, no, but how's that for storytelling for you? Like, I didn't realize that the guy getting the 40 was the Flash. I just figured it was video footage of a liquor store robber
Yeah.
getting knocked over by
Okay.
something too fast to see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
see, I saw that, and I'm like, oh, Flash, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So,
This movie-
and then he finds
that
out
was
that
the
Wonder
scene that I liked in the
Woman
movie.
existed in 1919 with
Yeah.
World War I guys.
And then he emailed
which
her.
is sort of a little nod to her movie that's coming out.
Yeah.
So a little.
And then he emailed her.
Then he emailed the best
He
detective
don't know who
work.
she is.
Actually, I think that was AOL Instant Messenger.
Oh, was it?
Is what they were using.
I don't-
AOL
Who
Instant
are you?
Messenger.
Yeah, Batman doesn't know who this mystery woman is. He
Yeah.
finds a photo of her that shows that she's 100 years old, and next thing you know, he's emailing her. Like a pervy note of, I know who you are.
He's a who
Oh
are
my
you?
god!
And do you do anal?
Did Wonder Woman?
You smell like flowers.
Was she the better part of the show at all?
She was great. She was fine.
great.
Okay.
I have no problem with her. Because she's Amazonian, she's the sort of Greek god.
Yeah.
She does have a Mediterranean accent, so she's not American Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
So
And she
I heard
shaved.
some people complain about that.
Don't knock it. You know, Lindsay.
She is
what
shaven,
was
I
her
think.
name?
She
Linda
will be in
Carter.
my
Linda Carter
big
was
fat
a good
Greek
one
wedding
back
too.
then, but
And she,
sorry, that was me.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Gong Show now. is all
Enter. You're gone.
yeah, no, she was fine. I
Okay.
liked. She just wasn't in it enough. I will.
So
say,
you think she wasn't in it enough?
correct?
Okay. Like, what portion of the film, being 2.5 hours, is it 10 minutes?
Wonder
15
Woman
minutes?
doesn't show up
3
until like
minutes.
the last
She's-
10 or 15 minute
yeah,
fight
she's
with
As Wonder
Doomsday.
Woman,
As
but-
Wonder
And
Woman.
here's the thing. There's a scene there where you've got Batman, Superman. Batman has a gun, by the way.
Oh, we'll get into
which
that
I
in a
have an
minute.
issue.
Uh-huh.
And Wonder Woman just standing there, and they're going, "Whoa!" You've got that camera pulled back, and
Yeah.
it's just like, I should be going, "Holy shit, this is incredible!" I'm going,
Yeah.
Seen
checking
it on
my
the
watch,
trailer.
going, "Are we
I know.
done?"
How
Seen
many
it on the
times did we
trailer.
see the trailer for almost like 6-7 months?
That was another thing. If
Yeah,
they had
and it
left her
was
out of the
so-
trailer,
Mm-hmm.
it would have been a more impactful moment.
And Doomsday out of the trailer.
If they left
Yeah,
Doomsday
we
out of
don't-
the trailer,
We didn't need Doomsday in the
Fucking-
movie at all.
Lex Luthor combines his blood with General Zod to create Doomsday.
That's not how it works.
in Jello.
That's not how it works.
In the
Yeah.
spaceship Jello.
Yeah.
There's
always room for
I am
Jell-O.
happy with the death blow that Superman and Doomsday give each other. It was different than the comic where they basically just punch fucked each other into
Yeah.
death, or something like that. How did I describe it to you the other day?
I believe you said it was anal fisting.
Nope, that wasn't it. But basically, where they just hit each other harder and harder until they finally killed each other with a
Right.
knockout
But
blow.
they,
Yeah.
they showed that with Batman and Superman. Just beating the piss out of each
Now,
other.
here's
like
the other
that.
thing: is I thought Batman, based on the trailer, was going to make like a Tony Stark Iron Man power suit kind of
Is
thing.
that not what he did?
No, he basically made a suit of armor, and then he had like smoke. He had weaponized kryptonite
Weaponized kryptonite.
into
Right.
basically
Like
smoke bombs, which weakened Superman to like human strength
Oh my
temporarily,
God.
so that they could fight.
Just temporarily.
So the suit of armor was basically just extra padding, so he didn't get punched to shit on the first punch from Superman.
I thought at
and then he
least
kept
it-
smoke bombing him.
I thought at least it was going to be like laced with kryptonite in the metal. That's what I thought.
That would have made
They
better.
did it in
also.
Smallville. Smallville did it right.
So
He only had a little bit of it. He had weaponized it to the point where there's just a little bit left on the spear.
yeah, he kind of carved it down into
He
a
had
He was
point.
going to
big
use the
ass-
spear as the final blow.
He had a big ass meteorite,
Yeah.
and now he only had that much left, like that little bit. I'm talking like the size of a
Jesus.
Pepsi can.
That was bigger than that.
It was bigger than that. It was more like
It was like the Spear of
That's
Destiny.
what she
Okay,
said.
a 2-liter bottle.
To further the Jesus myth with Superman, it was kind of a Spear of Destiny
Right.
kind of thing that was going to be the final blow that kills Superman.
Yeah.
Right up here underneath the rib.
Ooh.
And then we would have Super Easter.
The movie made no sense. It drug on.
so much I want to say, but I can't process it right now.
I'm going to transition to something I do like because I don't want to be totally negative about it.
Uh-huh.
I really like Ben Affleck as Batman and Bruce Wayne.
Cheers. I agree.
They played Bruce Wayne in this as you don't have to see him like develop his technologies. In this,
He's the older version.
He's
of
the
that.
older
older.
version.
I've seen some shit. I've already put the Joker away. Like they even
Killed my
reference
boy
in
Robin.
Joker even says at one point, you've been doing this for 20 years. you've served your time, you've put away the bad guys, whatever the line is. So he's been doing it for decades already. So he's old grizzly. He's got all the technology. He knows how to fight. The suit. I thought the suit looked great. I thought the voice changer was a little too heavy, but I was fine with it. I thought he was fine as Bruce Wayne.
The whole bulking that Affleck was doing. I mean, did
what?
it? When he got the role, he bulked up for the role.
Oh well, you have to. If you're in a superhero movie, you have to get all ripped. But
not if you're Daredevil.
Yeah, exactly.
He's pretty. He's pretty ripped too.
He's fit.
Yeah,
he's
fit.
Man, we don't
he's
even.
fit.
Man, we don't have time to talk about Daredevil season 2.
We
We'll save that.
I'm
for the
talking
big
about
podcast.
the movie.
Speaking of which, really quick on the toy aspect, did any of you guys see the unmasked Ben Affleck toy? At
Yeah,
Toys
Scott
R
just
Us?
posted that.
I saw it last
I thought
night.
that was pretty cool.
I was like, okay.
It looks like you can put the mask on him.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Actual rubber cowl.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on Batman versus Superman?
I didn't hate it, didn't absolutely love it, wasn't impressed by it. I'm tired of the dark, dreary superhero that DC insists upon us.
You know what? I think we need to give, like, when we do movie reviews and stuff, like Rotten Tomatoes gives the tomatoes. I think we need like 5 action figures.
Like how many action figures?
Yeah,
I would give this 2 out of 5 action figures.
2 out of 5. What about you, Brian?
I'd give it 2 and a T-crotch.
Ooh, I like that.
What?
You like
2 and a
crotch?
Wait, we're changing the rating scale now.
Crotch.
Instead of 2.5.
I give it Minton package. I give it AFA 7.0.
Oh, that's too high. That's too high.
No, it's like 2.5, dude.
Yeah.
Seriously,
So
like,
2 and a torso.
2 and a torso.
Yeah, 2 and a torso.
T-crotch.
I got you.
The bottom half of the torso.
So, out of 5 action figures, what would
2.
you? You would obviously
2.
give this a 2.
I don't know what I hate worse, is that or the Superman Man of Steel movie.
Now, see, Superman Man of Steel, I didn't like the first time.
Steel better.
And liked it a lot the second time, and I liked it even more the third time. So I'm hoping for something similar with this, but I doubt it.
I'm just saying that DC's not being able to pull off the same thing that Marvel's doing. And I hope that
whenever
they
I see
don't.
Marvel
Well, I've
stuff,
been
I get
saying that for
excited. When I see
years.
DC, I'm just kind of like,
I think
Yeah,
DC is
get
trying to
this
do
over
like a Tick thing. They're trying to like ground it in reality. They're trying to make
Stop it.
things,
No.
you know.
They're
Stop
not,
it.
they got to catch up to
No,
Marvel.
Marvel doesn't give a shit about the kill count in New York when the aliens destroyed everything. I mean, they reference it a little bit in PTSD
Here's to prove
in
the
Daredevil,
point.
but
Here's to prove the point. You don't even want to see Suicide Squad.
not really.
See?
Couldn't be interested.
There you go.
no.
Do you see? They're
No.
they're making ill attempts at trying
Is
to
there
make
any
stuff
mention in Batman v
Nope,
Superman?
not one.
Nope.
You didn't even
No
know
reference.
what the fuck I was going
Of
to say.
Suicide Squad
They didn't
or
mention
anybody in
shit.
it.
No.
Oh, all right, go on.
They didn't mention shit.
I was going to say, okay, you know how most of the Marvel movies, they have that little, the Easter egg at the end or
DC
some-
movies don't do after
No,
credits.
no after
nothing
credits.
of mention of like a last scene where they're looking at the file, looking at everybody from the Justice League.
No.
Nothing like that.
Nope.
No, but it does do the Lord of the Rings Return of the King thing where there's
Yeah.
like 9 endings.
Really?
And like it ends, and it ends, and it ends, and it ends, and it ends.
And then Batman
And then
takes
the very
Aquaman.
last scene is the city buries Superman.
Okay.
But they're basically burying an empty coffin.
Yeah.
But they're burying Superman. Mm-hmm. Back in Kansas, Clark Kent, the body is actually being buried as Clark Kent with a small family funeral. And at the very last shot, you start to see the rocks, the dirt on the coffin start to rise, giving you that, oh, he's alive. He's making the dirt rise. I don't know, he's a
Okay.
magician or something.
Yeah, I don't know what that would be about.
Doctor Strange.
I guess it's been 3 days, and it's time for him to
Wrong
come back for
universe.
Super Easter. Let's start Super Easter as a thing.
Super Easter. Hashtag Super Easter.
So, but I mean, you know, Superman's coming back. I mean, even in the comic books, he didn't stay
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
They basically just knocked him out.
And
for-
I don't think
for a
we're going to
couple
go
of months.
through the whole bullshit of, oh, is this the new Superman? We have the kid
Oh, the
Superman.
5.
We
No,
got the 5
I'm
other guys.
wow.
I'm actually
Don't say
fine
that.
with Henry Cavill as Superman. I
I don't mind him.
Totally
He's
fine.
got ugly cry face though. Seriously, like when he's like upset and crying, it's like Jesus.
You ruined it for me when he got mad. I saw that face that
He's
you were
like,
talking about. I'm like, what is he doing? It ruined it for me because I thought about what Brian said the whole time. I was like, I'm looking for the cry face. So every time he
And
got
then you
upset,
saw it, and
yeah.
you're just like, God
And
damn
it was
it!
more than once. It was
Fucking
more than
bitter
once.
beer face.
Yeah. All right, so we are way over on time.
There's no such thing.
This has been a great episode of catching up with you guys. It's been a couple of weeks.
Hey,
Oh,
man,
yeah.
it's
It's good
been
to see
lovely.
everybody,
It's gonna be-
especially Mike.
Yes. Fortunately,
Mike on the mic.
just outside of the podcast, life has just been very busy for everybody
yeah.
this spring, which is great. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with something else, hopefully before our big group meeting, which is early May. So we might have one more episode before our May episode, but drop us a line. Let us know what you're thinking of the podcast.
What do you guys want to hear? What do you guys want to talk about? You know what? you guys help us out. We'll talk about
We want to know what nerdy things
What do you want to know?
you want to hear about. So drop us a line on Facebook, Nerds with Attitude Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram and
I'll give you my phone.
Twitter.
You wanna call me? Call me.
Send us
Cool.
your ugly.
1-800 Back to the Future.
Send us
Grizzly bear.
Send us your ugly toys so we can film us shooting them like He-Man figures.
Fuck, 1-800 at a time would have been a much better phone number. Well, anyways.
Speaking of out of time, we're out of time.
We're out of time. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Nerds with Attitude Podcast. Oh. What? Where's your?
Did you just shit yourself? What was that?
Where's your reggaeton soundtrack?
I don't have
All right, you guys keep it nerdy.
Keep it nerdy, folks.
Take it easy.
Let me sing you the song of my people.
What? Where are we going to fit the mariachi band?